All right, they tell you to niche down, but wait, not too much. So let's talk about really niching down. So as you start your freelance journey, you can really freelance however you want. It really is the sky's the limit, which can be really overwhelming to really narrow down your the jobs that you want to work on. So here's what I did. I took and did a full inventory of all of my skills. And I'm like, I can do this, I can do that. So for me, I can be a virtual assistant, I can be a project manager, I can be a social media curator, I can be a program developer for courses, I can help membership owners, I can do this and this and this. The list just went on and on. And so I didn't want to niche down. Like that overwhelmed me, that scared me because I felt like I was putting myself in a box, and I didn't want to be put in a box because I wanted to do as much as I could. I came into freelancing, I needed to make money. Like there was no option. Like this was what I needed to do to put food on the table for my kids. So end of discussion, money needed to happen. And so I didn't have the time to really focus on what I wanted to do, what I could do. I just started applying. So I looked at all my skills and I was like, okay, I'm going to apply for that virtual assistant job. I'm going to apply for that project manager job. I'm going to apply for this job and that job. So as I began closing those jobs, it was great. I was working, I was making money. Awesome, right? And that's when overwhelm came in. That's when burnout came in because I was spreading myself so thin. Am I saying spreading myself so thin where I'm working 80, 100 hours a week? No. Like I'm spreading my brain power so thin because I'm doing this amount of tasks over here for this client, this over here. And by the time my tasks at the end of the day were counted, it was in the hundreds of everything being different. So I was like, okay, I need to take a step back, reevaluate, because my bandwidth was just my brain power. I was just not a great mom. I was just not like feeling anything like fulfilling. And that's what I truly wanted as a freelancer. Like the whole reason I started freelancing was to make money and live a laptop lifestyle. So when I'm doing that, I was not in alignment with what I truly set out to. So it was time for me to identify, now that I knew what kind of jobs I could get, what jobs did I want to do, and what jobs brought in the most income. And that's where I really niched myself down into specifically, I knew that Kajabi platform in and out. Like that was a no-brainer. I knew other membership platforms, other website platforms, a little bit, but I decided to hone in on one platform. Not that I wanted to box myself in still, because I'm still like I don't want to be in a box. Like don't put me in a box, because I want that I'm a creative person. I want that to come through in my freelancing. So then when I aligned myself doing Kajabi projects, I still can come over here and I can stay on top of the marketing trends as far as email marketing, as far as course development, membership development, all of those things that I can continue learning, and those are always evolving. So then when I come into these new projects, I can raise my rates, because now what I bring to the table is I bring in my Kajabi development, my confidence that I have, that I know that platform in and out, and I bring to the table that I'm staying on top of the trends that are happening in the membership areas, in the course areas, all of those things that I can serve my clients. So my value proposition that I bring my clients is very high, versus if I was going to be a virtual assistant or a project manager, that really spread me thin. So now when I head to work, like into my work zone, I know that I'm working on the Kajabi platform. And then within that, I'm sure you've taken 1,000,002 courses. You've signed up for 1,000,002 different offers. They're all a little bit different, because whatever resonates with that client, I get to help them create. So that's pretty cool. So I'm not niched down in a way that I feel boxed in, but I'm niched down in the fact that my brain doesn't want to explode, and I'm just not completely and utterly exhausted by the time that the kids come home from school or I end my workday. So that's where I'm saying, but I started, 2.5 years ago, just deciding and discovering. The cool thing is, as you freelance on Upwork, there's plenty of jobs that you can apply for. So if you have a skill that you're like, I know how to do this, is this something that I'm interested in doing? You can take and accept jobs. Take out your skills for a test drive. Like, how cool is that? Like, test them out, see if you can over deliver with your clients, that you can meet all of the requirements, that you feel confident in what you're doing. Because when you bring confidence to the table as a freelancer, like, it just makes your positioning that much better. You resonate with your clients, you are clear on what your boundaries are. So now when I have a client that comes in and says, I need you to do this and this and this, and I'm like, okay, hold on, that's a project manager role. That's not something that I can do it, but do I necessarily want to do it? No. So then now where I've positioned myself is I've created this referral system that I know great virtual assistants, I know great project managers, I know great Facebook ads people, all of those different things. I know people in those spaces. So if it's not something that I want to do or that I'm willing to do, I can still bring it to the client and say, hey, I don't do this anymore. I know, I always throw it in there. Like, I know enough to be dangerous. I haven't stayed on top of like the learning curve of that, but I know X, Y, and Z people over here. Would you like me to facilitate an introduction? Like, so for a client who already has built this know, like, and trust with me, like, they love me. And that's not, don't take that as me boasting or anything, but those are the things that I try and push through into the clients. Like, I'm an extension of your business. When I sign that contract, every time I get an Upwork contract, I'm buying into their business because I'm passionate about helping them be successful. So when I come and I've worked hard to build that relationship with that client, and then I bring to the table, like, I don't do that, but I know these people. It helps them facilitate that conversation with those other people because I have vouched for them. So you don't have to do everything. You don't have to be super niche down, but you also don't want to be overwhelmed and burnt out at the end of the day. So when you're really looking at, and everyone wants this work-life balance, okay, you can have that. You can work your 40 hours a week. You can have your family time. But what can you do in that 40 hours a week or whatever you decide is your work week? What can you do to save some of that brain space, optimize that brain space and that time by focusing on the projects that you love to do and that are going to give you the greatest amount of return on your for your income? So hopefully that was helpful. In the comments, I would love for you to tell me where you are. Like, are you niche down or are you at your bandwidth? I'd be interested to know if there's other people out there that if you can just tweak your skills a little bit or narrow yourself down, can you give yourself an increase? Because when I started on the Upwork platform, just applying for jobs, I was at that $25 an hour rate, and now I'm definitely a lot higher. So those are some different things to consider as well. So I'd love to see where you are at and pop those in the comments in the after this video. Have a great day.